the opportunity to speak. Y'all want to know a little bit about me. I've been married for 40 years. I've got 2 children, 2 boys that graduated from Dawson County High and went on to North Georgia and graduated. One of them is a coach in Dawson County High, and the other one works for Delta Airlines. I was thinking about what I'd learned being a commissioner the last 3.5 years. And the main thing that I've learned is y'all are the government. You give me the honor and the privilege of serving y'all and representing you. And I promise you that I'll do the best I can. I don't promise you it's always going to be right. And I don't promise you that I'll make all the right decisions. But I will do the best I can for y'all. Because I'm part of y'all too. What I do will affect me as much as it does you. And I got looking around at all the signs put up, and somebody asked me, was I going to put out signs? I said, no, they cost money. I'm going to save my money, and I'm going to try to save yours. I'm not going to spend it needlessly. When I do something, I want to see some results. I ask for your vote. I want to thank Christy for giving me 3 minutes, because that's about 2 minutes more than I'm going to need. But I would ask y'all to do one thing for me. Just pray for me that I do what's right. Thank you.
We'll open up with opening statements of 2 minutes each, and we will begin with Sheriff Dawson.
I'd also like to thank all of you for coming out, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sharon Fawcett. I'm a lifelong resident of Dawson County. I've been here 63 years. Don't let that shock you. I know I don't look that. Just kidding. But anyway, I'm educated in the Dawson County school system. I went to North Georgia College. I came back. I'm a former teacher. I'm a former DFACS director. Now I'm still self-employed. I've had several small businesses along with my husband and with my son. So I've got a lot of experience with small businesses. I am married. I have 1 son. He is married. I have 3 grandsons. And the appearance of the last grandson is what got me interested in this. He'll be the 7th generation that has lived on the Fawcett property, on the Fawcett farm. And I am into agritourism, tourism, the rural areas, agricultural areas, and I want that preserved. I'm into preservation, protection, and conservation. And we've embarked on agritourism entrepreneurship just recently. And I want other people to have the way of life that I have had. I want them to enjoy it. And that's why I'm here tonight, and that's why I'm running.
Thank you. Corey?
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to first thank the Chamber for hosting tonight. Thank everybody in middle school and each and every one of you here. I get asked a question a lot of times, why on earth do you want to run for commissioner? And the answer is fairly simple. Let me get a good look at everybody. It's to serve you. That's why I want to run for commissioner. And my background lends itself to being a great commissioner. That goes back to my days at Georgia Tech, where I was a civil engineer, graduated back in 2000. I also studied transportation, environmental engineering, and what our impact is on our environment and our surroundings. Then I went to the private sector, worked for a firm as a design engineer, designed roads and bridges, storm systems, sanitary sewer, water, the list goes on, parks and trails. And then was lucky enough to land here in Dawson County as the county engineer. And that's where my service to the county started. I developed a bond with just about every county department and also developed a good relationship with various county or state and federal agencies. And those relationships yielded additional revenue for our county. In my time, I was responsible for over $800,000 just alone in the 4 years that I was here, coming from state and federal agencies and grant funding. I feel like my background lends itself to becoming a very good commissioner and sets myself apart from my opponents. And I appreciate your time and look forward to answering some questions here.
Thank you. Kevin?
Good evening, and I want to thank the Chamber for hosting and thank you for the invite. Glad to be here. I was here a couple of years ago running for sheriff, so it's kind of familiar. I've lived in Dawson County for 15 years and in District 1 for the last 12 years. But what's unique about me and the other candidates is I bring 27 years of county government experience to the table, and I'm due to retire from the DeKalb Police Department in July, where I'm currently a major, and I'm in charge of the narcotics division of the police department. And with that experience, over those years, I ran a precinct of over 100 officers, and I've managed budgets in the millions, but at one point, assisting managing a budget of over $100 million with the police department, but now I manage a budget somewhat smaller. However, I do deal with the county commission quite a bit with different items that we bring on board. And so I bring that to the table as well to Dawson. But one thing I haven't heard tonight that I want to say is that, and this is what I believe is the most important job of a county commissioner and a county commission, is public safety. Public safety should be our number one priority above anything else. Making sure that our EMS or our fire have the best equipment that's available and the proper number of personnel to keep the call response time low. And as Dawson County grows, is this infrastructure going to be able to handle the growth of high density apartments, such as what was approved recently on Lumpkin Campground? Those are things that I bring to the table because I've experienced it. I've experienced it where it didn't work out and call response was very bad. So I want to thank you, and I look forward to answering questions.
We will ask our first question. Corey, you'll go first. The question is, some citizens have argued that consolidation of the county and the city governments, as well as Etowah Water and Sewer, would make our community more competitive for attracting and retaining businesses. Do you view consolidation as a potential positive? If so or not, what specific ideas do you have to help make Dawson County more attractive to new businesses and more competitive in the area of business retention and growth?
I do feel that consolidation could benefit our community. However, I don't think it's necessary. I think the city and county governments can operate together. What benefits the county will also benefit the city, and vice versa. And same with the Etowah Water and Sewer Authority, as well as the Dawsonville Water Department. It is good for business to attract businesses if all are in unison. And that is something that I think can be improved on, but consolidation of government is not necessarily that way. It is by joining together and reaching out to our businesses and ensure that our chamber and development authorities are properly funded and we are able to give them as much resources as we can so that they can lure these businesses to our community. That's what I would do as your commissioner.
Thank you. Kevin?
Well, I doubt that's going to happen. DeKalb County went through the same thing, going through the same thing with cities being formed, and basically that all comes from a poor service level from a county government, and we don't see that here. But really, you're consolidated now to a certain degree with fire and EMS and with law enforcement. as far as the county providing those services. The consolidation of the water department at this point with the county, I think would just cost more money to do that and to bring all this together. And local control is important to folks, and I'm sure the folks that live in the city limits of Dawsonville enjoy that local control over their zoning and over their code enforcement. So I really don't see that happening or really being a benefit to Dawson County at this point in time. Now, further cityhood, I don't think would be very positive for anybody because of the cost involved to create these different entities. But at this point, I don't think it would be cost effective to consolidate.
Thank you. Sharon?
As I see it right now, it seems to be working. So if it ain't broke, I wouldn't fix it, wouldn't try to fix it. At some point in time, considering money, economics, that might come, but right now it seems to be working. I know sometimes there are conflicts and that can be worked out, but as far as I see it right now, I see them as separate entities, and I think they're doing fine.
Thank you. The second question will begin with Kevin. What is your opinion on the use of taxpayer funds from the county budget to fund agencies and authorities that promote and facilitate economic development, such as the Dawson County Development Authority and the Dawson County Office of Tourism and Development, which is housed with the Chamber?
Well, I think it's very good, and I noticed in the 2014 budget that $75,000 was allocated to the Development Authority, which did not receive any funding the past 2 years. So I'm hoping for good things from them to attract businesses and tourism to the county. I think one of our key ideas that we've got to look at is, can our infrastructure as it is today handle new business and new building development, single-family homes, high-density apartments. That is key, I believe, as a commissioner. Can we do this? And at this point in time, if more building comes into Dawson County, we're going to have a problem. And so we've got to take a look at our EMS and our fire, our law enforcement, dealing with the sheriff as far as, do they have what they need to provide a superior level of service to us in the law enforcement and in the fire EMS. And I believe that's going to be something that we really seriously got to take a hard look at as the increase in the building is coming. It's on its way, it's already started, and it's a good thing. But can we maintain that and maintain low taxes at the same time? It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a hard thing to do, but I believe I can help with that process.
Thank you. Sharon?
I do believe it's a good idea to fund the county, to fund these authorities, because I think if you don't, it gives out the wrong message that business is not important. And I think we need to do all we can to attract businesses here. And I want the perception that the business is wanted here. And now I'm one of these that, I like the 400 corridor. I think that's where the main part of our businesses should be. But yes, I am for county funding those authorities.
Thank you. Corey?
Yes, I am very much in favor of funding our development authority and other authorities that can bring in business. And here's why. Business is very important to our local economy. Residential growth isn't very good for our tax base, but businesses are. And by investing in our development authority and Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, we then get a return on that investment. And if we can maximize the amount of revenue we can make from tourism, then we can be able to provide the services that go along with that. And here's why businesses is also important to Dawson County, is it brings opportunity. And right now in Dawson County, there's limited opportunity. I can speak from experience. However, with additional opportunity that we can bring to our county, where we get an additional, where we can provide opportunity to our students growing here in Dawson County, Right now we're at 51% free and reduced lunch. That number has increased since the recession. So this is a number we need to get turned around the other direction, and businesses is the way to do it. Bringing in tourism, bringing in people to spend their money here and then go back home to Forsyth County or Hall County is what's best, for, I think, for our county.
Thank you. The third question will begin with Ms. Fawcett. In regard to the upcoming special purpose local option sales tax vote, which will be held in November, improving solid infrastructure such as roads and bridges is often a priority. What other projects do you see as a top priority to improving business, infrastructure, and the quality of life for our citizens?
Okay. Now, everywhere I go, I do hear roads, so I know that is one of the main priorities. Another one that I think that we really have to always look at is our law enforcement. We need good patrol cars. We need them to always be up to snuff, because I'm really for that, and we also need our ambulances, our fire trucks, all those type of services. I think that's something that we should also keep just very, very superior. So those are the things that I think would be good for the SPLOST.
Thank you. Corey?
Yes, SPLOST coming up is very important for our county that it get passed. Let's first say that. It would be nice to have a lot of it go to our road infrastructure. That will support the businesses as part of the plan that I would have as a commissioner. However, that, again, like Mr. Ellison mentioned, that brings in more needs for fire and emergency services and sheriff services. If we focus our efforts on certain corridors, Georgia 400 and maybe 53 going into Dawsonville, then we can focus our services and be more efficient that way. Second of all, I think quality of life perspective. There's a couple ideas I would have about our Parks and Rec system. We have a great canoe launch on Highway 9. I'd like to see another second one on Highway 136 at the north end of our county to give a blue way for our outdoor recreation enthusiasts. That would be one idea concerning our Parks and Rec. And then also our fleet, a good fleet shop. This facility would help repair and maintain our fleet across the board. I feel that we need that in our as well, built into our SPLOST.
Thank you. Kevin?
Yes, roads. Yeah, that's number one. I think we've all discussed that. We've all seen that out here on the county roadways, which is also an issue as we have increased growth, is can our roads handle that traffic? We have a lot of state routes as Georgia DOT on board with us to make the improvements necessary on some of these roads as things build up. And I think that's very important. As far as the SPLOST money goes, after roads, I do think we need to look at Parks and Rec. I know that I've talked to folks around the county that are interested in an aquatic center down at Rock Creek Park, and I would be very interested in learning more about that and the benefit to the citizens of the county. In addition, of course, I've already spoken of the fire and the EMS, and one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is the public safety radio system. It's old. It's about a 1970s vintage. One good thing is the improvement has started. The commissioners have allocated funding to start the improvement of the public safety radio system, which I think is very important to bring us into the 21st century of digital. So our first responders have the best equipment available to them when they come out to the calls with us. And so I believe those items there would be most important for the SPLOST.
Thank you. Our fourth and final question, we will begin with Corey. As a potential commissioner from a more rural, less commercially developed area of our county, would you favor varying from the Dawson County's existing land use plan and zoning provisions in order to accommodate a large-scale commercial development and/or large-scale residential development for our county?
I think one thing that's important to note is our future land use maps based on a lot of input from a lot of different people. That's our land use map is built upon that. And it provides for large-scale commercial and large residential development along particular corridors. Now, if there's a proposed project outside of that corridor that doesn't fit the land use map, we would have an obligation to hear out the property owner. You have a lot of land, Ms. Fawcett, right? And let's say down the road you look to sell the property for some reason, but to a developer that wants to build a golf course community, something that may fit the area, may not. Or if our land use plan doesn't allow for that, then we have an obligation to hear the facts, hear what the residents around there say, and be open-minded about it. However, with that being said, our land use map, to me, is very important to stick by. And if there is a very good reason to vary from that, it would involve a lot of public input and hearing from all the property owners out there. But to put it simply, I would not be in favor of land use map changes unless there's very good reason.
Thank you. Kevin?
Absolutely no. I'm not interested in that. There's plenty of open space in Dawson County on the south end. We have the 400 corridor already established. That's where our business and our development really needs to concentrate. It may be up Highway 53 toward the city, as I know the city has its own desires to expand. But from that point on, I don't see any reason to change our map, our land use map for that type of development. When we've got the Gold Creek sitting empty as far as the golf course goes, and folks have been having to deal with that for some time. I can't see building another golf course around Dawson County or a large scale residential neighborhood in the northern or western area that's already established as agricultural or rural.
Thank you. Sharon?
I have had the privilege to serve on that comprehensive land use committee, and there was input. I think there were 600 people that responded, and it's something that it's a great guide, and it's something that's not written in stone, and I have learned that it can be changed. It can have public hearings, a couple of public hearings, and also 3 county commissioners can change that. Now, I'm all about the rural areas and preserving that, but I would not be closed-minded to it. We would just have to get the input from people. You would have to weigh all different kinds of, the positives, the negatives, the advantages, the disadvantages. I would have to have a lot of information before I could really come up with a blanket statement. And I don't want to tell you, well, yes, I do this, or no, I wouldn't, until I really had information. So I would want to take it to the people and listen to them.
Thank you. We will now have our closing statements from each of the candidates. We will begin with Kevin. You'll have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you. Enjoyed being here tonight, and I'm glad everybody was able to come. And I just want to say that I bring like 27 years experience from county government, and I just want the opportunity to serve. That's why I asked for your vote on May 20th. Is just for that opportunity, as I plan to retire in July. And so I will be able to put the time necessary for the training and to learn from the other commissioners and from county staff and really learn how the county government operates here in Dawson County. And I forgot to mention my wife, Christy, is here, and she works down at Forsyth County at the Superior Court. And my son, he goes to North Georgia College. He's a tutor for Spanish and French. So real proud of that. My daughter goes to Dawson County High School, and she's going to be going to Piedmont College here pretty soon. So like I said, we've been here 15 years. We've enjoyed every minute of it, and we enjoy all the folks here. It's a great community. It's very open for new folks to come up and for visitors to come up to the mountains and to Lake Lanier and all other Burt's Farm and everything around Dawson County is just spectacular. And So it's a destination county. We've got 400, which comes from Atlanta all the way up, and the folks are coming up every day. Used to be on the weekends, now it's about every day, to the mall and everywhere else up here at the shop. So it's a great community, and I appreciate your vote May 20th, just for the opportunity to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Dawson?
When you think of me, I want you to think of somebody that is totally committed to Dawson County and to its people. I've been here all my life. I'm fully invested in this place. I have enjoyed it, and I want other people to enjoy it as I have. Another thing I want you to think of me is service. Somebody commented to me, the county commission seat is not a position of authority, it's a position of service. And that is truly what it is, and I would be honored to do that as well. Another thing I want you to remember about me is preservation. I'm into preservation, protection, and conservation. But as I said, everything's not written in stone, so I am open-minded. I've got a willing heart. I'm willing to listen to you, and you could call me anytime. And if anybody wants to know anything more about me, you feel free to ask me after this is over. I have a flyer there. I have signs, anything that you want. But please do vote. Early voting is April 28th through May 16th. The primary is May 20th. So please vote, and let's show interest. Thank you.
Thank you. Corey?
Thank you. I grew up in a small town, where it used to be a small town called Tequila, Georgia. It's in Gwinnett County. And when I went there, we were proud of our Dairy Queen. I had a couple 100 people in my graduating class. And then Tequila grew and grew and grew and grew. And I was fortunate enough to land here in Dawson County with a career. And when I first started working here, I realized this is where I wanted to raise my family, because it was the same environment that I grew up in. I wanted to provide that for my children. Dawson County is different than Gwinnett County. Dawson County actually cares. And an example of how I care, I would like to tell you a little bit about what's called the Next Generation Clubhouse. I'm on the Next Generation board, which is a basic evolution of the mentoring program. And there's young students, young men and women, middle school and high school. There's about 30 of them right now in the clubhouse. And what we do for these children are give them opportunity. We give them opportunities with learning new skills, technology, eating a variety of foods, things you wouldn't even think of. And the impact it has on these young children is immense. They're making better grades. They're doing better in school. Their shoulders and heads are up high. And I'm proud to be a part of that. And that's what I do for my community right now. As a commissioner, though, I bring a set of skills and experience that my opponents do not. As an engineer, I'm very intimately familiar with our public infrastructure, not just infrastructure in general, but our infrastructure, the needs, the demands, and also what it means for opportunity. I'm a small business owner. I understand the value of the dollar, of a hard-earned dollar, and I also understand the value of the taxpayer's dollar. And that's what I would bring to the table. Thank you very much.
I just want to thank all the candidates who are here tonight. We really appreciate, your willingness to serve our community, but also your willingness to answer questions and speak before us. I will remind you, we'll be putting it out to the public on Facebook, Twitter, and through email. So please do pass it around, because we firmly believe that the Chamber is important to be informed voters, and it's important to vote. So thank you also for coming out this evening, and we hope to see you very soon at a Chamber event. And if you'd like to grab, I know all the candidates have information out there, and I'm sure they would love for you to grab a sign. So we're not forcing y'all out the door anytime soon, so y'all feel free to mingle, but thank you very much.